Jagers welig spruit, doringboom sy skadu sprei, soos ons groei in kundigheid, mag U ons lei. Sien ons hoe hier lei met die hand, laat U sien rus oor ons land. Three strong streams united flow, Africa stands proud and tall. As we learn, we trust, we know God is in control. Bless us, O Lord, guide us with grace. May Northwest be blessed always. Bless us, O Lord, sien ons hier. Orite Jehovah se morena, sien ons, bless us, O Lord.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome you all to this very special occasion, the inaugural address of Professor Karin Botha. A specific welcome to Prof. Balia, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Information Technology and Campus Operations, Potchefstroom Campus. Prof. Ntebo Moroke, Acting Executive Dean. Prof. Herman van der Merwe, Deputy Dean, Teaching and Learning. Prof. Babs Surajal, Deputy Dean, Research and Innovation. Prof. Dan Metzeling, Deputy Dean, Community Engagement. And Prof. Lindy Duplessis, Director for the School of Tourism Management. Colleagues from the School of Tourism Management, the Research Unit Trees, and all FEMS faculty. Karin's family especially, her parents, Cor and Alita Reineke, and parents-in-law, Frikkie and Hope Botha. Karin's husband, Franco, and their children, Kayla, Nadine, and Christian. Karin's sister, Ingrid, brother, Corius, and sister-in-law, Marita. The inaugural address is an opportunity for the newly appointed professors to inform colleagues in the university and the general public about their research career so far, and update colleagues on their current and future research directions. Also, to grant the new professor the opportunity to answer for herself regarding her position in and contributions to the subject field. It is also a reflection of how you understand your mission at Northwest University in the context of your subject, tourism management. This significant milestone is an essential component of the university's public events program, helping to create wider awareness of the latest developments in research in the faculty and the university. The Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences is in a privileged position to have 7 members of staff presenting inaugural addresses this year in a variety of disciplines. Prof. Karin, today is your day to celebrate an important personal milestone with family, friends, and colleagues. This is an opportunity for the university to recognize and showcase your academic achievements. Today, you will share with your colleagues, both within the faculty and more broadly, your research interests, and we are looking forward to your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Karin Botha. Karin Botha is the middle child of Cor and Alita Reineke, and she was born on the 23rd of October 1980 in Sandton, Johannesburg. She matriculated in 1998 at the King's School, Robin Hills. She obtained a degree in Tourism Management and Psychology in 2003 and her Tourism Honours degree in 2004. She is also a member of the prestigious Golden Key International Society. Karin was permanently appointed at Northwest University in 2006 as a junior lecturer. While teaching full-time, she completed a master's degree in 2009 and a PhD in 2012. In a teaching career, she received 2 A-grade Institutional Excellence Awards. Karin's special interest and research expertise focuses on events marketing, specifically in the area of consumer behavior and profiling at arts, cultural, and culinary events. She received a Y2 rating at the National Research Foundation in 2018. Karin has worked on 33 tourism reports. She has published 25 accredited national and international articles in peer-reviewed academic journals and has presented no less than 31 papers at national and international conferences. 2 of these papers received Best Paper Awards. She has also written 2 chapters in peer-reviewed tourism textbooks. Karin is actively involved as a study leader for postgraduate students. 9 PhD and master's students completed their studies under her guidance. 2 of these master's students received the Vice-Chancellor's Award for the Best Master's Study at Noordwes-Universiteit. She also serves as an examiner for master's and PhD students at various universities and regularly review articles and papers for accredited national and international academic journals and conferences. Karin married Franco in 2007. They have 3 beautiful children, Kayla, Nadine, and Christian. In her leisure time, Karin and Franco enjoy working with their hands by designing and creating and renovating living spaces in their own home and also investment properties. And she believes that whatever you decide to do it well. And this is always reflected in her work. Karin, your career is colored with excellent achievements, both teaching and learning and research. I remember assisting you as a first year. Then you became part of the tourism team. I was your promoter, and it was wonderful to see you grow over all these years. We are really very proud of you, especially today, and we are looking forward to listening to your inaugural address. Thank you.
Honourable Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences, Directors of the Noordwes-Universiteit School of Tourism Management and the Trees Research Entity, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honour to present this inaugural lecture titled Deciphering the Black Box, Shedding Light on Consumer Behaviour in Tourism Events Contexts. I want to start off with the popular and regularly cited quote by Hawkins, Mothersbaugh, and Best, confidently stating that all marketing decisions are based on assumptions and knowledge of consumer behavior. So why is consumer behavior so important that all marketing decisions need to be based on it? Consumers today are living in a highly competitive modern society, surrounded by a magnitude of logos, messages, and labels. It is now estimated in 2021 that the average person encounters between 6,000 and 10,000 advertisements every single day. This is way more than the reported average of between 500 and 1,600 advertisements in the 70s. These marketing messages and initiatives are so integrated into our daily lives that very often we don't even realize that we've seen them. And yet, the marketing strategies and budgets of many organizations and businesses remain focused on one particular goal, and that is to influence consumers' purchasing decisions. Marketers will tell you how important it is to understand their consumer behavior if they are to reach them effectively. Part of that is understanding the factors that influence their purchasing decisions. Without that understanding, it is simply not possible to tailor an offering to the demands of potential buyers. Over time, marketers have turned to the work of behavioral scientists, theologists, philosophers, economists, and social psychologists, and many others too, to help them understand consumer behavior. As a result, there are many different theories and models used to explain why consumers act the way they do. One particular consumer behavior model is that of the stimulus response model, or more popularly referred to as the black box model. This model focuses on the consumer as a thinker and as a problem solver, and who responds to a range of external and internal factors. These factors ultimately help the individual to decide what and what not to purchase. In essence, as referred to in the figure, this model consists of 3 phases: an input phase, a process phase, and an output phase. The external stimuli that consumers respond to include the marketing mix. These consist of the 4 Ps: price, product, place, and promotion, and are usually shaped by the organization or the company. Together, these factors represent external circumstances that help shape the consumer choices, as well as stimuli consisting of economic, political, and cultural circumstances in society. The internal factors affecting consumer decisions are also referred to as the black box. These factors are more psychological in nature, and they take place in the consumer's mind. These include beliefs, attitudes, values, knowledge, motivation, and perceptions, and lifestyle. The decision-making process is also part of this black box, and it outlines the process a consumer goes through when making a decision. This process consists of recognition of a need or a want, information searching and processing, identification and evaluation of alternatives, the actual purchase decision, followed by the post-purchase behavior, which then again feeds back into a new cycle of purchase decisions. But to further complicate this decision-making process, many other forces are also at play. These can include age, gender, education, economic status, life cycle, culture, reference groups, and personality. Although many researchers and marketers consider the intricacies of consumer behavior as a mystery, and thus the appropriate name given to it, black box, this model assumes that regardless of what happens in the black box, the consumer's response is a result of a conscious, rational decision-making process. And when marketers understand this process and better acquaint themselves with the factors that impact it, they can ultimately take action to influence buyers' perceptions and behavior at different stages of this process. So how does this apply to my journey? My career as academic and researcher started in 2006 when I was permanently appointed as a junior lecturer and when I enrolled for my master's degree. It is my love and appreciation for the arts and culture that initially sparked my interest to do not only my master's but also PhD research within the South African Arts Festival context. Both studies had a strong event marketing focus with the field of consumer profiling, behavior, and segmentation. The contribution of my PhD research eventually resulted in the development of a ticket purchase behavior measuring instrument and model for South African arts festivals. My consumer behavior research has since expanded, including different events contexts and types of consumers. In this research, we predominantly determine which socio-demographic and behavioral characteristics or factors, and to what extent, influence and contribute to purchasing and engagement. Some of these events and festivals who we collaborated with and for whom we conducted this research were amongst the largest arts festivals in South Africa, internationally acclaimed theatre events, as well as popular South African expos and food events. The data analyses that we predominantly used in this research included correspondence analysis, cluster and regression analyses, exploratory and confirmatory factor analyses, ANOVAs and t-tests, structural equation modeling, amongst many others. The findings of this research are published in various national and international accredited academic journals and was also presented at various national and international conferences. Some findings were also shared on popular media platforms. However, it must be emphasized that this research was in many cases a team effort, consisting of colleagues and postgraduate students, and for whom I have much appreciation. It is from these research outputs that I have selected a few examples to share with you just some interesting profile and behavioral tidbits of specific consumers at different events. Before I introduce the consumers to you, I want to provide some background to the different types of events in the industry by briefly referring to the typology of planned events by Getz, 2005. He proposes the following categories into which planned events can be divided. These include cultural celebrations, arts and entertainment, business and trade, sports competitions, recreational, educational and scientific, political and state, as well as private events. And so it was from these event types that we have targeted certain consumers, or more specifically attendees, to better understand who they are and how they behave. Based on the combined data of attendees to various South African arts festivals, we can conclude that they are 45 years of age and are predominantly female. They usually travel in groups of 4 people and attend the festival for a duration of 4 days. Their main motives for visiting festivals such as these are for relaxation and socializing with friends and family. Besides the festival serving predominantly as a leisure activity, attending the festival to specifically attend quality productions is yet another important motivation. Not only does this satisfy the needs of the attendees by providing quality productions, but ticket sales serve as a main income stream for festivals. This in turn also contributes to the livelihood of artists. We therefore specifically looked into what the main contributors of ticket purchases are. And production credentials came out top. Interestingly though, is that the leisure time at hand and the ability to schedule well in advance or to book productions is also incredibly important. This is a logistic aspect that should not be underestimated. And organizers should ensure that the festival dates they select is done so carefully to best accommodate attendees. And their user-friendly online booking systems must also be absolutely effective, because this allows the ticket purchasers to purchase their tickets well in advance. The third most important contributor comes as no surprise, and this is the fact that these attendees are lovers and supporters of the arts. However, specific genres are definitely more popular and should enjoy priority at the festival and in the festival programs. These include drama, comedy, and music theatre. Least purchase tickets are for word art, children's theatre, and jazz. Media types that best assist with ticket sales is the festival website, as well as the festival guide, And this is mostly because the details about productions are conveyed well in advance in these mediums. And whilst festival newspapers, interestingly, turn out to be the least effective. When extracting the data of specifically big spenders, it was interesting to see that it is not necessarily high earners that do the big spending, but high spending is rather associated with attendees aged between 46 and 60, and with attendees that travel from the Gauteng province. Also within the context of arts festival productions, we have conducted research specifically on children's theatre. Although we also covered the teenage and student markets, I want to specifically focus on the children's market segment. As reported in the previous slide, children's theatre was one of the genres for which the least tickets were purchased by arts festival attendees, accounting for only 3%. But why is this particular segment so important, or why should it be so important to us? Besides the educational benefits that these types of productions have for children, such as developing their social skills, intelligent listening skills, comprehension, and overall development, the literature also tells us that childhood exposure to the arts significantly contributes to lifelong interest and involvement. So in other words, instilling a love for the arts at a young age will help secure future audiences and ultimately the sustainability of arts festivals at the arts. This is especially necessary since we have noticed an increase in the average age of arts festival attendees over the past few years. The main motives why parents attend these productions with their children is because of their love for the arts, but the fact that it's considered a fun child-parent activity. And also because parents appreciate this educational value. Although children's theatre account only for 3% of all tickets, arts festivals remain a popular platform for children's theatre in South Africa. And these sales still help to contribute to the overall sales and thus the income of arts festivals. The good news is that 90% of festival attendees who attend with small children are indeed repeat visitors. And they spend a duration of 4 days at the festival. They are also satisfied with the amount of entertainment that the festival offers to their children. And not only do they purchase tickets for children's productions, but they love to purchase tickets for themselves to ordinary productions. This totals an average of 16 tickets per family. Once again, festival programs are the most effective to assist with ticket sales, and interestingly, word of mouth or posters are amongst the least effective. Contrary to the ticket purchases of regular productions, where production credentials play a major role, ticket purchases for children's theatre is far more influenced by the title of the production or the character. Since arts festivals aim to ensure sustainability of all arts forms, it only made sense to also conduct research on the purchase behavior of visual artworks by festival attendees at these various arts festivals. The major aspects that encourage purchases is enough time to browse. The artwork must also be of quality, but it is ultimately about personal taste. In other words, the colors or techniques used in the artwork, the scene depicted, the message and feeling evoked when one views the artwork, and the ability for this art piece to fit into the decor of the individual's home. What turns out not to be important is specifically buying this art piece for investment purposes. Surprisingly, it's also not about the reputability of the artist or the dealer, and neither about the stigma or status attached to owning a particular artwork. These attendees purchase approximately 4 artworks every 5 years, of which 2 of those artworks are purchased at arts festivals. Arts festivals therefore prove to be a popular platform to purchase artwork. And although art galleries and private sales may exceed the popularity of arts festivals as a platform, the data shows that arts festivals is especially a favorable space in which to purchase more affordable and moderately priced art. This is also evident in the amounts that purchasers spend on an art piece at these arts festivals, and almost half of the artworks sold at festivals are priced below 5,000 Rand. And so the question is, what encourages more purchases? Overall, marketing, including word of mouth, contributes very little to purchase decisions. And it is rather the festival setting and atmosphere, as well as the allure of the exhibition space, that encourages purchases. Interestingly, one would think that individuals attending the festival for 3 to 4 days would be 2 times more likely to purchase art than attendees attending only for 1 to 2 days. However, they are actually 3 times more likely to purchase the art. This is possibly confirming the positive influence that the unique festival setting has on the purchase behavior of these attendees. One last interesting insight for festival organizers is that purchasers of the visual arts are also fans of the performing arts, and that higher qualified attendees with postgraduate qualifications ultimately purchase 25% more art than other attendees. So moving away from the festival setting for a brief moment, but still remaining in the performing arts spotlight, I want to share with you some interesting findings regarding the ticket purchase behavior of attendees to live theatre events, or more specifically, internationally acclaimed productions at renowned theatres and venues in South Africa. These included none other than the Phantom of the Opera, as well as the internationally acclaimed Circus du Soleil. In this research, we aim to learn why these events are indeed so successful, in order to direct future decisions when it comes to hosting these acclaimed productions in South Africa. The theatre events serve very much as a family activity, and thus also justifying the 4 to 5 members in the travel group. As expected, the motives for attending these events are the fact that it is an award-winning production, it is about the reputation of the creators and composers, and it is also an opportunity to experience this internationally renowned production. These attendees generally have a love and enjoyment of the performing arts, as we can see that they attend approximately 3 theatre productions per year. Also, 81% of these attendees have a theatre membership, and they especially enjoy musical theatre and comedy as genres. Convenience is also especially important, and aspects such as the accessibility of the venue, efficient ticketing systems, and a quality venue is incredibly important to them. The mediums that most effectively market these types of events is obviously television, as well as word of mouth. From a monetary point of view, we have learned that the average ticket price per person is 350 Rand. However, the price category with the most sales is 250 Rand per person. This is understandable considering that purchases are mostly for family outings, and that tickets need to be purchased for all 4 to 5 members in this group. These prices provide an excellent guideline for future ticket sales, especially since almost 3/4 of attendees consider the price for these productions to be value for money. A very interesting finding, though, is that attendees want a variety of time slots to choose from, and they want these productions also to have a long running time. This is perhaps not only for the sake to have a convenient time slot option to fit into busy schedules, but because a staggering 2/3 of all attendees indicated a desire to attend the same production a second time. Indeed, an interesting finding. Attendees to Afrikaans film theatre was yet another consumer market we researched. It was initially concerns about the quality of Afrikaans films that motivated us to have a more in-depth look at the ticket purchase behavior of these individuals. Although the major reasons for purchasing tickets for Afrikaans films was predominantly about being able to watch a film in one's own language and with the film relating to one's own culture, more than half of attendees feel that the quality of Afrikaans films must improve. These findings were also publicized in popular media platforms. This is why 2/3 of attendees still prefer international English films to the Afrikaans films. Regardless, consumption patterns show that attendees purchase approximately 28 cinema tickets every year, of which 3 to 4 are Afrikaans films. This is positive considering the much fewer Afrikaans films available in comparison to the English films at the box office. Afrikaans films merchandise is also popular amongst attendees, and they purchase 3 to 4 soundtracks or DVDs per annum. Needless to say, the most popular media for marketing these films is movie trailers, film reviews, and word of mouth. To maximize the exposure of Afrikaans films in general, we proposed the showcasing of existing Afrikaans films at Afrikaans arts festivals, and 53% of attendees indicated that they would indeed support this idea, especially since they usually attend at least one South African Afrikaans arts festival per year. We also extracted data from younger film theatre attendees, and it was interesting to see that these younger markets are even more critical towards the quality of Afrikaans films, where 3/4 of these attendees feel the quality must improve. They are also not really supportive of festivals as a platform to showcase these films. So, what will count in favor of these Afrikaans films to secure sufficient ticket sales? Firstly, the genre. Attendees prefer comedy and romance, whilst drama proves to be unpopular, perhaps the testing times we're living in. And secondly, the attendees want to see renowned actors and a film with a good storyline. They are not too concerned about who produced or directed the film. Moving over to a completely different type of event and consumer. This research focused on the consumer behavior of brides and grooms, or more specifically, their needs and preferences regarding the selection of that ideal wedding venue for their special day. The research focused predominantly on couples residing in the Gauteng province and surrounding areas. This research therefore allows wedding venue owners to better cater for the needs of this consumer market by means of desirable wedding packages. Firstly, it was evident that only 1 in 5 brides actually make use of a personal wedding planner. It is therefore important to provide the services of an in-house wedding planner as part of the wedding package, since this is an expectation of 50% of all bridal couples. Standard services and facilities that should also be incorporated in these standard packages is the venue and chapel hire, set-up services, and a dance floor. Extremely important aspects that are considered to be non-negotiable by bridal couples is firstly, the ability of the venue to effectively continue with operations during load shedding, as well as safe parking and security. This was more important than one would think the affordability and the beautiful premises need to be. The average size of a wedding, as indicated by 1/3 of the wedding couples, is between 76 and 100 guests. The average budget of wedding couples is 135,000 Rand, of which catering, the venue hire, and the wedding dress are the highest cost items. And when it comes to the financial contributions of the parents, it is evident that the parents of the bride contribute 30% to the wedding budget, whereas parents of the groom contribute only half of that at 15%. Another interesting fact is that couples spend more on photography and videography than on the flowers and the decor. One can't help but wonder what setting these photographers and videographers will be recording. In order to develop more package options that adapt to seasonality and quieter times of the week, the following was learned. The most popular months of the year to get married in is understandably December as well as September, whilst January is the least popular month to get married in. It was also very interesting to learn that morning weddings account for a total of 13% of all weddings. And midweek weddings, in other words, Mondays to Thursdays, account for 10% of all weddings. Packages that focus on these quieter time slots not only helps venue owners to manage seasonality, but it offers more affordable options to brides and grooms with stringent budgets. However, not all bridal couples are cash-strapped. And when we extracted data of couples with higher incomes and budgets, we learned that a renowned venue associated with status, as well as on-site accommodation for all wedding guests, is a must for these consumers. Culinary events was yet another prominent part of my research. One specific study, together with a PhD student, that I am very proud of and want to refer to, is that what was initially a potential food expo in Zimbabwe. This expo has since made its debut in 2019. We specifically looked at the consumer behavior of existing tourists to Zimbabwe, as well as the preferences of both tourists and industry role players regarding a food expo, in order to develop a program criteria for such an event. Consensus was reached among tourists and industry role players as to where this expo should be hosted, and this was indicated to be Harare. Both tourist and industry role players also vouched for the month of August. This selection could be ascribed to the fact that it is a holiday period for locals, but it is also a popular month for internationals on vacation. It would further help with seasonality, since August is a far quieter vacation season than the festive season. Both tourists as well as industry role players also agreed that the duration of the event should be 3 days. 83% indicated that they would prefer tickets to be sold online well in advance, but that it should also still be available at the entrance of the expo. We could also conclude that all activities needed to be included in the ticket price. However, it was determined that these tickets should be day passes, and that tickets should not grant access for the full 3 days. Very interestingly was that tourists are more willing to pay entrance fees for children under the age of 12, contrary to the opinion of industry role players. The most prominent medium selected to market the event is the event website as well as TripAdvisor, followed by travel magazines and social media. Amongst various program activity options, the most desired activities indicated to be incorporated into the expo program were traditional Zimbabwean cuisine, hands-on workshops, open food theatre demonstrations, merchandise exhibits and sales, as well as live entertainment and music. Wine, beer, and cocktail exhibitions and tasting also featured as potential program activity options. However, wine and cocktail was a far more popular option than beer. Although specific program activities for kids was not amongst the high-rated options, international tourists do believe that incorporating children's activities into the program is very, very important. Still within the scope of culinary events, I want to next share with you the findings of research we conducted at a popular multiple winery event in South Africa, also known as grazing. This entails traveling on a wine route between various wine farms in a wine district, in this case specifically the Robertson Wine District. The profile of these attendees indicated an average age of 38 years, 59% are female, 41% male. Half of the attendees are in professional or management occupations, and they are predominantly Afrikaans speaking and from the Western Cape province. To socialize, relax, and spend time with friends, not always just family, were amongst the top motives for attending the event. And given the nature of this event, the variety and quality of wines offered at these events were obviously also an important motive. What was not considered to be important motives was to become a wine connoisseur or for status. Their general travel behavior depicted a stay of 2 days and 3 nights, whilst visiting approximately 9 wine farms in groups of 7 people. From analyzing their spending behavior, it was interesting to note that food and wine expenditure was higher than their accommodation costs. We then looked more in depth at possible social, demographic, and behavioral differences between first-timers or infrequent visitors, as opposed to visitors who frequently visit this event. First-timers or infrequent visitors were definitely younger. They traveled further. They stayed shorter, which obviously resulted in less wine farms being visited. These visitors are more effectively targeted by means of television advertisements and word of mouth. Frequent visitors, however, are older, mainly locals. They stay longer and they visit more wine farms. Newspapers and emails is a more effective means to communicate with these attendees. Given the unique nature or format of this event, it made sense that visitors requested specifically shuttle services between the wine farms, and some even requested the size of the wine tasting glasses to be reduced. And so yet another culinary event type within the boundaries of South Africa is that of food and craft markets. These events have particularly sparked my interest because of the role they play in generating income, not only for the event organizers, but also because of the contribution that these markets make to the livelihoods of many local and non-local entrepreneurs who sell their merchandise at the various food stations and craft stalls located at these events. We therefore focused on the consumer behavior of attendees to various food and craft markets across 3 different provinces in South Africa. There were astonishing similarities between these different located markets, and so based on a combined data set, we could shed some light on the consumer behavior of attendees to these events. Almost 2/3 of attendees are female. Most visitors attend these markets with their partners or with a friend. This is followed by visitors who attend the event in groups of 4. Only 20% of these visitors have children. A surprising 35% of these visitors are non-locals. And their main motives for attending these events is to spend time with family and friends and to relax in a setting that offers a nice vibe and atmosphere. Almost half of these attendees spend a rather limited duration of time at these events, only 1 to 2 hours. And attending these markets is not a regular occurrence, as visitors attend these markets only about once every 3 months. When considering attendees' interest in food and craft merchandise, it is evident that there is a way bigger interest in the food and beverages and way less interest in the arts and crafts. This is also confirmed in the purchase behavior of goods by these individuals, where 3/4 of visitors' total spend of 406 Rand per person goes towards food and beverages, whilst only 1/4 goes towards arts and crafts products. And when we zoom in on the food items that attendees spend the most money on, we see that spending on alcoholic beverages is almost equal to that of prepared food enjoyed at the market. This is followed by other take-home food products such as fresh produce, dairy products and preserves, as well as baked confectionaries, desserts and treats for the sweet tooth. Spending on cold non-alcoholic beverages is almost equal to that of warm non-alcoholic beverages such as coffee. The considerably lower spending on arts and crafts products can be a concern, especially to stall owners that sell these goods. Fortunately, we have learned that spending on these arts and crafts goods increase by 10% with every visit. However, 38% of these attendees are first-timers, and visitors who attend these markets repeatedly do so non-occasionally or once every 3 months. It therefore remains a particular challenge for these food and craft markets to secure regular repeat attendees. And then lastly, and perhaps more recent research that I have also found particularly interesting is yet again in the context of festivals. The focus was, however, on the green behavior of festival attendees at various arts festivals in South Africa. Realizing the tremendous environmental impact that these large events can have, we set out to explore the attendees' attitude and inclination towards supporting green practices at these events. Generally, attendees believe that festivals in South Africa are somewhat green in their management practices, and attendees also consider themselves to be somewhat green in their behavior. The green practices that attendees are most inclined to support include e-marketing, the use of hand sanitizers to lessen water usage, refundable bottle or cup systems, and recycling bins. The green practices that attendees are less likely to support include green transport alternatives, such as a bicycle rental or shuttle service, a small water levy for toilet usage, a green fee added to the entrance fees, as well as a more natural ventilation alternatives in the production venues. Needless to say, the research revealed that the practices that don't require much time, money, or effort are more favored by attendees, as well as practices that offer some benefits or rewards. So we conducted further research to better understand whether a green rewards program would encourage attendees to support or have an increased support for these less favored green practices. Firstly, it was determined which types of green rewards are most favored. Green freebies is a popular option. So things such as a free eco shopping bag, a free hand sanitizer, or a free water bottle proves to be the most popular form of compensation. This is followed by consumeristic or monetary rewards such as discounts or vouchers, not only at the festival, but also at popular retailers in the marketplace. Egoistic rewards, and these include things such as a VIP skip the queue service or VIP seats or backstage passes at the festival, proved to be the least preferred type of award. But on closer inspection of consumeristic and monetary rewards, it was found that the most preferred retail partners to reward green behavior is firstly the Pick n Pay Smart Shopper card offering discounts or points, followed by the Clicks Club Card points, as well as the Dis-Chem loyalty benefits. What we have further learned is that the utilization of rewards and freebies to encourage green behavior is an incredibly powerful tool. One such example that I quickly want to highlight, and which the research indicated to us, is that only 46% of attendees are willing to rent a bicycle. But this can be increased to 70% if bicycles are provided on a complimentary basis. And should a free eco bag, bottle, and hand sanitizer accompany this complimentary bicycle, the percentage further is up to 80%. This specific research therefore assists with the more effective implementation of green practices at festivals, and it helps us to also find solutions regarding the implementation of practices that are not so easily supported. It was a pleasure to briefly share some quick and hopefully interesting insights into the consumer behavior of these different attendees in various events contexts. It is these insights that allow us to better understand consumer markets and to advise product owners in the industry to develop and adapt offerings that better cater for the needs of their attendees. We know that the events industry has been hard hit by the pandemic, but we remain optimistic because this too shall pass. But these challenges, no matter in what shape or form, will always be with us, and change is inevitable. It is for this reason that we need to continue doing this research, or research of this nature. It keeps us informed and it helps us to better understand the impact on consumers' behavior so that we can adapt. But perhaps a more personal reason why I will continue pursuing this research is simply because consumer behavior is just so interesting, and it will always remain an interest of mine. And I can share the sentiment of John Miller, who quoted the following: "Knowing who your customers are is great, but knowing how they behave is even better." Thank you.
I want to take this moment to extend my gratitude to those who have supported me throughout this journey. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for His never-ending love, mercy, and faithfulness. It is only through His strength that I stand here today. Without Him, I am nothing. To the Noordwes-Universiteit and the University Management, specifically Prof. Botha, DVC Information Technology and Campus Operations. Thank you for the opportunities over the years to learn and grow as a student, lecturer, and researcher. I also want to thank and recognize the dedication of the management of the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences. Prof. Ntebo-Moroke, Prof. Herman van der Merwe, Prof. Bab Surjal, and Prof. Dan Metsileng. Then to two very special ladies in our faculty, Esme Labeskagni and Shantae Smith. Thank you for taking care of all the arrangements and logistics for this event. No detail is overlooked and no task was too much. I am truly grateful for your support, guidance, and words of encouragement. Thank you also to Darlene and the team at the Ceremonies Office for all your time and arrangements, and for doing it in such an efficient and professional manner. Much appreciation to Ian and his team for the recording of this inaugural lecture, and to MacLes for the photography. Thank you for capturing these precious moments and memories, and for doing it so well. To each and every colleague in the School of Tourism Management and the TREES research entity, it is a privilege to work with such a hard-working and talented team of members. Thank you for creating the space where we can learn from one another and support each other. I am proud to call you my academic family. To our school director, Prof. Lindy Du Plessis, and our director at TREES, Prof. Elmarie Slabbert. Thank you for your leadership and support, especially now during these more trying and uncertain times. I want to recognize 4 persons in particular, who have been there for the longest part of my journey. The late Prof. Melville Simon, Prof. Elmarie Slabbert, Prof. Piet van der Merwe, and Prof. Pierre André Vivier. They were my lecturers when I arrived as a first year at the then Potchefstroom University for Christian Higher Education. You were my example, and it is from you that I have learned to have such a passion for the tourism industry. Thank you also for seeing the potential in me and for all your support over the years. Prof. Elmarie and Prof. Pierre André, thank you for the further contribution you made to my academic journey as supervisors and promoters for my Masters and PhD. Pierre André, with whom most of my outputs are co-authored, thank you for all the research collaborations over the years. The surveys and projects would just not have been the same without you. And then Prof. Elmarie Slabbert, you are indeed an iron lady, my mentor, and I have the world to respect for you. You are true inspiration, and one will have to search wide and far to find your equal. And then lastly, my wholehearted gratitude to my family and friends for their unconditional love and support. To my parents, Cor and Alita Reineke, I could not have asked for better parents. I cannot express enough the respect and admiration I have for you. To my sister Ingrid and brother Corius, I love you dearly. To my parents-in-law and sister-in-law, thank you for your support and love, always. I am blessed to have you in my life. Then to my children, thank you for accommodating the often long and late working hours. The balancing act between work and family was not always an easy task. Thank you for understanding. And then to my husband, my biggest fan and supporter. Thank you for all your sacrifices and for your unconditional love. You are a true gift from God. And looking at you, I realize how much God must love me to bless me with someone like you. You will always be my best and closest friend, and I look forward to doing the rest of life with you.
On behalf of the Northwest University, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to this inaugural lecture. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for us to welcome Professor Karin Botha to the College of Professors. This is indeed a very special occasion, not only in the life of an academic, but in the life of the university. This is an occasion for us to celebrate perhaps one thing more than any other thing in life. It is about the principle of merit. Professor Botha has earned this status. It is one we hope that no one will ever take from you, one that you will not relinquish for any day in your life, because once a professor, you'll always be that academic in your heart and in your mind. Perhaps even when that day comes when you will leave the university, you will remain a professor in mind and in heart. I emphasize heart because that is what students receive from their professors. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Something that they will keep with them for the rest of their lives. Students never forget great teachers, and I'm sure that is exactly what you are. This is something entirely owned by you on merit. In this country, where so much is given to those who are not entitled to it, those who have not worked that hard, it is so important for us to put the emphasis again on merit by achievement. Hard work is something that we increasingly need to recognize. Becoming a professor is, of course, it is also an occasion for us to recognize the role played by your peers, those who have become professors before you, those who are, as it were, administering the university, have considered your application and they have made a judgment that you indeed belong to this status, you belong to this community, you have been judged to have reached a certain level of academic maturity. And Northwest University, being an international university recognized throughout the world, gives you a certain place in the academic world. Wherever you go, you can immediately call on this position and the knowledge and experience you have that goes with it to hold you in good stead. Lastly, I want to recognize the role played not simply by yourself in having attained this, but those who are members of your family, the immediate family, the distant family, the teachers you might have had at school, the lecturers you would have had during your undergraduate and postgraduate studies. There have been many who have made this journey with you and helped you to reach this point. So it would do us well to think that this is indeed a collective effort. The university, of course, will benefit enormously from the research you will do, the lectures you will give, and the inspiration you will bring to all those associated with Northwest University. Of course, you didn't need this title to do what you had been doing and what you will do, but this title, becoming a professor, recognizes you indeed belong to that community of those who have passed the final hurdle, those who can now freely impart knowledge and understanding to the world and be recognized for doing so. Thank you very much again, Professor Karin Botha. We look forward to working with you, to your contributions to the future of Northwest University and to the development of our students. Thank you very much and welcome. Thank you.